Whether you are a small startup founder or a housewife trying to make a living, or a teenager who feels that they have that one breakthrough idea that is going to rock this world, this video is for every one of you who is looking at starting their side hustles or full-time ventures and want some investments to get the ball rolling. And no matter where that investment is coming from, a well-funded venture capital, your Durga Chacha who inherited all of your great-grandfather's wealth, or that gali ki nukkad ki paan ki dukaan wala who actually owns a full building which is rented out completely, you will need to make sure you say the right things and most importantly, not say the wrong ones. So here we are with some ridiculous things you can tell investors that will ensure you do not see one penny out of their pockets. Remember that Paan Ki Dukaan Wala has made so much money because he has business sense, so this applies to him as well. Make sure you watch this till the end because I have a bonus 6th secret tip for you. Who am I to give you these tips, you say? Well, I am Sophia Chand from Girls Buzz. I have been a founder for multiple startups for 7 years, out of which some have been successful and some not so much. Some of the mistakes mentioned here I have done myself, and others I have seen other founders make or learned from the investors I met during this time. Before I jump in, please do like and subscribe our channel, click on the bell icon so you get notified every time we upload a new video. And do share this video if you like it. What is your target market? All women in India. Absolutely every single one of them. Every female is going to want to wear our product. It is so good, trust me. So you mean to say that you can produce 700 million apparels, one for each female in India? Say what? Just because you create a product that is meant to be used by every single woman, it does not mean every woman is going to be able to use it, right? And how are you going to be able to even produce it? You've not managed to reach 100% of your relatives yet. How will you reach 100% of women in India? You have to identify a clear target market, which is called a beachhead in the startup scene. Not even Google can boast of 100% coverage of Indian population. Saying this only makes the investor feel you've not done your homework well and actually don't know anything about how you are going to sell it. Having a niche is not bad. It actually helps. You get to focus more and put your efforts in the right direction. Starting small, then having a growth plan is much more impressive. What is your revenue model? Oh, revenue. Don't worry about it at all. We are certain we are going to get $1 billion in revenue in the first year itself. The product idea is so good. The sales are going to hit the roof. What are you selling, by the way? Apparels. This more often comes after the first point, which is the target market. If you assume a large target market, you will obviously assume large revenues, right? I don't know of a single startup that has managed to get that or even half of this revenue in the first year. And I read a lot about startups. Unless you are born out of an existing successful founder or your startup idea is coming from the innovation department of a large organization, that would be impossible to achieve. Don't make promises you cannot keep. Be realistic, do your research, be firm and accurate on your numbers. You should be able to justify every penny that you promised you will earn. Tell us about your team. So we are a very small team consisting of I, me and myself. We are fully bootstrapping it. We want to make sure our investments are going in the right place, you see. We cannot just put in more money and hire more people unless we need them, no? Okay, so if the team is only you, then who is we? Bootstrapping is good when it is an extremely small business that specifically works on skills that you have. But if it is even slightly larger and you want to make it to a level where it can become a stable business, then you are definitely going to need help, and that may be either full-time employees or freelancers or even your partner for that matter. It is practically impossible for one person to be able to have the know-how of every single thing that is required to manage a business setup. Example, if you are a fashion designer, you are going to need a tailor, a salesperson, a UI UX person for your branding, right? Moreover, you will never know where you are going wrong because you won't have multiple viewpoints. And that brings me to the next point. How about your testing process? What was the feedback that you got when you tested the product on a sample? Oh, why do we need to test it and all? I know because I have had this experience and I've been missing this for so many years and I'm trying to fill that gap. So obviously this is going to work, I know it. Okay, I get it. So how many have you sold till now? We've just started now, no? Getting into a business without testing if people really need it is trying to jump into wet mud to know if it is quicksand. If you haven't tested it, you are the one who's going to drown in it, isn't it? Always do a check with a sample market, however small. So you have some proof of concept when you're speaking to an investor. Make an MVP, a minimum viable product, which is a sample that people can use and see how they react to it. Whether you are creating the best meal service or you are going to make the next battery that will revolutionize the world, a proof of concept that it will work is needed for investors to assess the product. Who do you think your competitors are? No competition at all. That is the reason I'm getting into it. The product is such a great idea that it is going to sell like hotcakes because there is no competition, no one making this kind of product at all. What did you say your product was? Apparels. Oh, so you mean that you are the first person who's going to sell apparels to humans. Until now, everyone has been roaming around naked. If you search for something valid on Google, do you ever get 0 results? No, right? Yes, you will see 0 results when you put something absolutely nonsensical, and that's what the investor is going to think your product is if you tell them you have no competitors. Now I know all you budding founders are not going to agree with me at all, but I've been through multiple cycles of a startup and I can tell you that if you have no competitors, then your competition is status quo, which is even more difficult to beat. Because you have to first make people need the product. Selling a replacement, way more easier. What's more, having competition is actually good for you. That means you can create an edge over them, be better, or even crush them with your out of this world idea. All you need to do is some research and be ready with how you are better. Lastly, never say only bad things about competitors. They have more proof of concept than you. They must have done something right. Right? These were some funny yet practical takes I wanted to share about what you should not tell an investor. Now I'm going to share that bonus tip that I mentioned, and that is I cannot share my idea without an NDA. Dude, ideas are a dime a dozen in the market. Everyone is coming out with that next $1 billion company idea while sipping chai at that nukkad wala paan ki dukaan. And that dukaan wala is silently hearing all of them as well. But the possibility of someone stealing your idea and making it for themselves is practically zero. Mainly because your idea has come out of your personal experience. There is no way that person is going to be able to understand and make it exactly as you have envisioned it. Trust me, you yourself are going to change your idea multiple times to fit in what is practical and possible. That is called pivoting. And you've already started working on it, right? That person is way behind you in the game anyways. No one is going to invest in your product if they don't know what it is about. This was just scratching the surface of what I have learned during the 7 years I spent as a startup founder. Yeah, I will try to get back with many more learnings so you can benefit and not make the same mistakes that I made or I saw others make. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell icon, and of course share the video. Help your friends and family become the next $1 billion company and be shameless and ask for your share.